I'm gonna put great ideas, terrible rolls on my business card, and I just
Great
need
ideas, terrible
everybody
rolls.
to know it.
Yeah, it's the most doxy thing. Whereas Neil has terrible ideas, but great rolls.
And I have terrible ideas, terrible rolls.
But that would mean that Dean is the last one in this quartet.
By definition, he has to have great ideas and great rolls.
Which, I mean...
Gotta balance the force.
It's gotta be. You've gotta do this now, Dean.
Hey.
Every roll must be brilliant.
Zekian returns with wine, a wiggly squid, and a tree. I imagine you brought the bathtub into, like, the main room of the church. There's more space.
Just like scrape marks all the way.
Yeah, like, fuck it. And, Zekian will hand you the squid, covered in ink. I still don't exactly follow what you're going to do with this, but, good luck.
Right. Okay then.
Torrin, really, quickly before we do this, are you sure if we don't just let the book dry, perhaps it, like, if something goes wrong, do we lose the book?
Don't really know.
If you are risking this book, then there is something I would try first that has no chance of damaging it. I do not know if it will work, but if it does, there is no risk. And even if it doesn't, we have not lost anything.
All right then, put the squid in the water. We can wait.
This was going to be my original thought when I described it as like the ink running. I know that you've said previously that retrocognition is more of like a place thing, but this is something that's happened very recently to this book.
To a thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Would I be able to use it basically to get? Would I be able to get anything?
I think I just to save you using the point, you know, it's always vague. It's basically like a vision. I mean, it's clearer than your regular visions, but I don't think it's reasonable to be able to read the entire. Like, this is a pretty big book.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fair.
That would be great if you didn't know you needed this book, right? Do we need this book? That's a great idea to save for another time.
Okay. Makes sense. So yeah.
So you would mull on it and.
Yeah, Amaryllis would probably hold the book and for just like a couple of minutes and just sort of go into that very still pose that she goes into sometimes, and then after a couple of minutes, just come out and say, "The flow does not grant me specific enough sight to know the insides. Your ritual is our best chance, Torrin." And hands a book over to him.
Right. 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 Light the candles. Incense is burning. Book. Where's the book? He'd pick it up. He'd hold it over the bathtub. From the depths we came. From the depths we return you. And unceremoniously, he drops it with a splash. Yeah. And it scares the squid, and the
squid inks. Yeah! You solved the puzzle! You solved the puzzle of how to let the squid live. Very good. I'm not going to require any kind of roll, because this was literally a nat 20 to get this idea, and you thought it through and all of that. You know, I think especially Belle would be terrified of seeing it. You know, you literally see the book, like, dissipate apart as an old... You know, this is, like, untreated paper as well, right? These old paper just apart. Then, with a... the magical thing, it doesn't show up with a great fanfare. You almost feel a heaviness in the room. The candles snuff out. The room actually feels as if there's a heavy rain. That kind of energy in the air. But you see the book reform, as you said, inverted, coated in ink, but with the words in beast tongue, in regular parchment, making it completely readable, and completely successful. And the squid lives.
Yay!
We now have a pet squid. Just put that out.
Now Vastinas has a friend to get him over his alcoholism. Someone who relies on him now. He needs, to slay that dragon and get
A
back.
squid will be consumed within the week.
He's gonna eat that squid.
Comes down and he's like comes down, finishes his glass of wine, looks over. Hear a couple of splashes and then like a sizzle.
Just drops a toaster in it.
Oh,
Has to invent a
squid.
toaster first.
With
the book.
Lightning bolt.
Is there anything any of you would like to do tonight? I mean, you have the book. I imagine Bella's just gonna start poring over it to learn.
Yeah,
everything that
she
they
will
say.
be so relieved. I feel like over the past hour, however long it's been, you guys have seen her in a way more vulnerable place than she's really been in front of you. Where
Yeah.
she's like, I fucked this up. This was our one shot at getting something, and I fucked it up. And that was weighing on her. But the fact that Torn, she's elated now and very eager to do her part.
You saw Richter naked, so I guess we're about even on the vulnerability thing.
Yes. The typical media. You've got the female emotional vulnerability and the male physical vulnerability. Oh God, why? Ah! So bad.
Anything else anyone else would like to do? Because it's only going to take you the evening, but
Amaryllis would sort of speak to. Well, she'd speak to the group, but with Belle focusing on other things, it would be more to Torrin and Richter, and would say, I spent the day listening by the docks. There was much to take in, little of it pertinent. Though I did hear tell of a place, an Isle of Cinder nearby, where a dragon lady lives.
A dragon lady?
Yes, most curious phrasing. Does not suggest an actual dragon.
No.
One option open to us would be to ask this dragon lady for information on her kind or for aid. If we run out of other options, or even if it is easily within reach for us.
But you heard the Isle of Cinder, was it? Did you?
Cinder.
That's nearby.
Yes. I also heard tell of someone offering their ship for rent to people for small journeys, which
I
might
see.
serve to get us there.
Well, I suppose it's a good test. If we can kill a dragon lady, we can kill a dragon. No, I'm kidding. I'm not like that. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That she might know something. Might be a dragon lady, like Leia's a medicine lady.
Yes.
Quite possibly. It seemed worth pursuing at least. Alas, I could not pinpoint the conversation to attempt to garner more.
I think you gained more than myself.
Lost actually, I think, lost a lot of clothing.
It was the only way to hide the book, which now we don't have, so...
Sorry.
Between,
Throw it away.
between the three of you, you appear to have retrieved most useful knowledge. Even if there were inconveniences and barriers to you laid in front of you by the flow, it seems you overcame them. I am proud of you all.
Well, my hands still smell of minotaur, so I've not overcome the challenges just yet. Nonetheless, we make a good team, it seems.
I don't like this city.
Yeah, me neither.
It has gotten even worse than the last time I was here.
Still, there's glimmers of hope here and there.
Bella
You'd
looks
like-
up from her book and says, I miss home.
Yeah, me too.
I miss Leha and Griff. And Oscar.
My mum.
She's blue. Maybe we should ask someone about that.
Do you think?
I wish I would have looked for a book while I was up there. I was so focused on the river and the land.
I mean, there's got to be a way to fix blueness, bluidity. It must have happened before.
If we wish to seek knowledge on that subject, I would suggest pursuing rumors of Fae of the Court of Ice. It was them specifically, the Archfey, who appeared to do what they did to Richter's mother. Such information might lead to either a cure or some way of interacting with them further.
I
Torn.
suppose he'd look at Richter.
We weren't detected.
That's quite a liberal use of the term undetected.
I didn't use... I believe we could get back to that library.
I don't want to massage that minotaur again.
I'll do it. You're probably
No,
better at
he
looking for
knows.
tomes than me.
He knows I'm better. He'll ask for me.
We can figure it out. But Amaryllis is right. I should have looked.
As should
Well,
I.
Why don't we take this boat to this Isle of Cinders place, wait for the old pervy minotaur to cool down, give him a couple of days, and then come back and try our luck again, I suppose. Maybe you'll get lucky, Richter.
Balara would look at you, Torin, and say, that's not how that works.
No?
You don't just calm down after a couple of days. I know you don't have a lot of experience with girls.
No, I meant stealing stuff. He's had someone break in. Might cool down after a few days. And that other thing might work in our favor as well.
Now I'm curious. Balara, what did you mean?
Sex, Richter.
If you go back there, he's gonna want to be inside one of you.
Let's get a boat to the Isle of Cinder.
Agreed.
I believe we should rest for the night. We've done a decent job. You especially, Amaryllis, I must admit. Thank you.
I think you give yourselves too little credit. You've done well today.
Balara's face falls at that.
Balara, despite what happened, it could have gone far worse, and I know your intentions were for the best, so...
We got the book.
I thank you.
Lucky we have Torin. And she'll raise a glass of wine that she'd been working on.
No point having me if you don't have the book. We're a team, and we did it as a team. You, me, and both of Richter's bum cheeks.
To Richter's bum cheeks.
Richter's bum cheeks. Wait till your father hears about this.
Richter blushes so hard.
We swoosh to the next morning, but there's a lot of reading that Belle has to do, right? And this is a heavy book, but luckily it's written, basically in the voice of the priestess writing it. So it's actually quite easy to read. There's just a lot, and there are tangents and things. Some of it is straight up rituals, and some of it is about the nature of their religion, because it is, this isn't really a church. This is a religion that is word of mouth, very much like yours. They postulate on Gira and Arne, and the distinction between them, because especially from people who don't practice the faith, the difference is kind of confusing. The difference they give in this book is that Gira is the goddess of nature as a whole and the natural world, but Arne is like an avatar for the Minotaur in particular. It's very much about the earth. There's a lot of powers from the earth that these priestesses can get, and they can use it to till the land for farming, or straight up summon earth and rock. Whereas priestesses to Gira, they get more of the Taurens, like magic of Oilin and Eirik. But there's definitely parallels. You hear of like spells they're casting which Tauren has cast, which is interesting. But when it gets to, because this is just a journal being about the sort of the life of a priestess of Gira and Arne, it just gets to the attack of Balcutter, and it's very suddenly our home was attacked. They described for a while about them trying to save it, but while it wasn't clear at first, the land was poisoned, and they tried everything they could, and they had spells to remove poison from the land, and it didn't work. They were in disagreement about planting a silver acorn. It's never referred beforehand in this book, but it seems very important that these priestesses, and there was a number of them working together, coven is really the best term, I guess. They're like, we can do this to save it. And some people are like, we can't risk that. This is too important. And it seems like this silver acorn is, some kind of relic. And Tauren, the symbol of Oilin, is a silver acorn. Straight up. You see it on him every day since he took the vows to be a priest of Oilin as well as Eirik. So you would immediately draw a lot of attention to that. They went to Shinebank, and there's a lot of conversations about basically them going there to meet up with the other, sisters and things of this priesthood, and some of them folded into the church of the family that they worship, because they worship Alarin Way, but it's a lot more fucky, and it was more fucky 30 years ago. And some of them did that and enjoyed that, and the writer of the book didn't. She does describe, however, leaving the silver acorn, the precious package, in a safe place in the city, under the city, in a place that only those of their path could enter, protected by the very magic of Gira. There's no way they could let the family have their hands on it. And they left to find. They left to go to Mother's site. This person wasn't 100% confident in actually going, but that's where they left to go to, while some of them settled down in the city and just had to live another life.
Okay.
Yeah. Big exposition dump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would relay that information to them.
Yes, I know. It always goes without saying.
I feel like I would have probably invited Torin to sit next to me, and I would like read passages out loud to him.
I could see that.
Oh, that Torum would actually like that.
Yeah, because there's straight up.
His days as a wee kiddo.
You know, there's straight up. Yeah, wee kiddo, and also, you know, these are spells of a very similar magic to yours, and you know, you would even think if I can just learn how to say these phrases, because it is a different language, that maybe you could cast these spells.
Could we spend downtime me teaching him how to say them?
Yeah, well, maybe. My kind of was thought is that, like, Neil, when he takes future spells, might be like, oh, this could be a really cool Minotaur spell.
Fair enough.
Because he's got I believe Torin is what, like he's a life cleric. These would be nature clerics,
He's
right?
a life cleric,
But
yeah. We
yeah.
had some contention at the start about what Torin would decide to be. Yeah, is because
you're now
the
kind of
cleric
blurring
these
the
are
line
very
more.
closely into the
Especially
and Torin already reads Beast Tongue actually.
Oh, and that's great.
He just keeps it on the
DL. But
because he likes it when Belle reads in passages instead.
oh.
That's really cute, and I love that.
But there's definitely, I know Neil can have some inspiration from this, and also this is another notch in your belt of becoming a priest of Ing.
Which is definitely something that's becoming more and more prevalent. I was thinking about like, we've got unicorn, squirrel, and squid. They're the main so far. The main food forms.
It would be really cool if, like, level 20 Torin has all the powers combined.
Some horrific,
Captain
like, amalgamation
Planet.
of, like, the unicorn with the squirrel's tail. And...
Because there's like 4 or 5 other spirit gods, right? So that would be cool to, you know, explore them, and that's just kind of accidentally happened. Great. So we can swoosh to sometime in the morning. Like I said before, but admittedly 3 weeks ago, Zekian's church is basically on that promenade, that stone promenade above the docks. So it's loud, right? You're woken up by people rolling their carts past and yelling their, you know, what's on sale and all that kind of, you know, stuff. Which, I mean, it's loud and it's busy. It's not exactly the kind of energy that most of you are used to. But what's the plan? Are you going to go talk to a man about a boat?
I think that would be a good plan, to be honest.
Yeah. There you go. Talk to a man about a boat.
Talk to a man
Disgusting.
about a boat. Okay. You go down to the docks, which if you...
Can I just suggest to the party, before we go and talk to a man about a boat, we would probably better go and find out where the Isle of Cinder actually is first. Because we know it's nearby, but we don't know where exactly.
Yeah? How would you want to go and do that?
Sailor's Tavern.
Yeah, easiest thing, talk to sailors.
Hello.
Okay, that's a straight up persuasion, and we don't have to. It's just like a give information, please.
Does someone else want to roll that? Because I've got -1.
She is a
I
tree.
think you should roll it. Go on in. Don't be scared.
Do you really want me to? Okay.
I want
It's
an
totally-
Ian roll.
it's-
Are we,
Fine, I'll roll it.
I mean, can one of us?
You can also roll. You can be getting a lot of information.
Definitely sounds
in this
like a
tavern.
Balara job.
Yeah.
Ian, this is a persuasion roll, not a gunship roll. Come on, you're not firing weapons at an enemy. God, do you remember that? We must have spent hours not hitting.
Oh, God. Wow.
Fucking hell.
The girls
Right.
try to talk to some
Only
sailors.
roll
I see
Shite!
what's happening. All right. Stand back. Here
Well,
it
now
comes.
Richter
get a
has
10.
to roll. It has to.
Get a 10. Get a 10.
Oh!
Aw, you ruined it.
That was
mean I ruined it?
uh,
It's out of my control.
That's funny.
But it is your fault. These sailors are hard to talk to. If you mention Isla Cinder, some of them just don't want to talk about it. Some of them are like, don't know. It's not important enough for some people knowing. People who do know are just assholes and don't tell you. It's a
It's
whole
like going
thing.
into tavern and just deans. Thousands of deans.
I've dreamed of this.
Okay, well, if I assume that takes us a few hours, and we were in.
This
the
takes
morning.
you, an hour or so before it's like we're not getting any.
Next
You know,
idea.
you know.
I gained an idea of how the docks work. I assume that there is there some sort of like harbour master office or similar?
Oh, absolutely. This is a very like legal dock. You know what I mean? They care about that stuff a lot. So I'm gonna go there and see if it's a map.
Yeah. I was literally going to say they've probably got sea maps. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
if this fails, we could maybe stow away.
yeah,
That would be
go-
really fun.
I bet after all this, we're going to go down there and be like, hi, can you take us to the Isle of Cinders? And it'll be like, it'll cost you. But that'll be it.
probably, but better to find this out first than potentially hire him.
Oh, yeah, no, I ain't
All right, Richter, time to spread them again.
Again, presumptuous.
presumptuous.
What would this roll be? You know what? This is an investigation check because you can get into like the Harbour Master's office and talk with them a little bit. But this is really like you're looking to see if they have a map and
Okay,
you can
this
see.
one I have a decent mod in. Unfortunately, it hasn't been a week, so I don't have my expertise back yet, but I still have a decent roll in. Of course I do that!
Extra tease.
You have a decent modifier, not a decent roll.
You know, I don't care at this point. I find it. This
is actually really good. This is like the side of your powers that we don't see very often. That I imagine Belle goes with you, right? And you're looking around. And there's like no map, but Belle, you see her looking at just empty chunk of wall, and going, "I've seen the map. I know where it is." Because in her vision, she's seen another world which did have the map.
Yes.
And it would be a map of, and a reason why there would be a map here in an alternate reality, is because the waters around Shinebank are very dangerous. So you have to take specific routes to get to the dock. So they have the nearby area and the like the water topography, and the Isle of Cinder is north. Weirdly enough, this hot island is closer to the actual North Pole of Jarviskjir, but not so far that it would take, this might take a day or two to go to if someone knows what they're doing. It depends on the ship. But you get it. What's the plan?
We go talk to a man about a boat.
You go talk to a man about a boat. You go try and listen to the voice, right? You heard this guy's voice, and it was very particular, right? You go and find this gentleman who's wearing this glossy cloak made of maybe 1,000 blue scales, and it swoops around and it catches the light beautifully. The clothes are also like captain-y, sailory chic. They're fairly bright and in interesting colors, which kind of stands out in the gloom around. And And when it seems clear that you are here to talk to him, he's sitting on a barrel by railings with the water beside him, and he looks to you and smiles with sharp teeth. Literally every single teeth just sharpened to some degree of a point.
Sith rare.
Yeah, he's a Sith. With a cool cloak. His
It's
skin.
punky.
His skin is tan. His hair is probably naturally blonde. It's quite short, shaved on the sides. There's little areas where it's dyed like different colors, but not all the way. But the thing that is most distracting, other than the toothy smile, are the eyes. One eye, the whites, the sclera, is black, and the eye itself is red. All red. There seems to be no pupil. On the other eye, it's reversed, with red and then black. And when he looks to you, he just sort of smiles and kind of claps his gloved hands on his legs. I think that you've come about my ship. I've seen a group of adventurers before, and you look like glorious adventures, the lot of you.
Oh no, I'm not sure we're adventurous.
Tell me, if you come from far afield, trying to revenge, glory, gold, women, men?
Full purpose, to be certain.
Then you're adventurers, and I'm a friend of adventurers all across the land. My friends, I am Chandler the Fence. It is grand to meet every single one of you.
Charmed. She'll put her hand. Charmed.
And he'll do the kiss and a bow with extreme flourish, right? Where are you interested in heading? It's a beautiful day on the seas. You can see like a storm in the far distance.
The Isle of Cinders?
Ah! You can't try and act like you weren't adventurous when you're trying to go to the Isle of Cinders. The only people who would want to go there are pyrosexuals or people looking for a fight.
Or, noble purpose.
You know what? I shouldn't ask. Say no more. I would be happy to escort you to the Isle of Cinders aboard my ship, the Wind Whisperer. It's a glorious ship. You've never seen a ship like it. I've seen some ships like it. Used to have a great ship. Got rid of it.
Master Chandler, you said looking for a fight.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, it's called the Isle of Cinder. The fire gets up and walks on that island.
Right.
In a sort of... You're saying the islanders are strong like the flame.
No, this is not poetry, and I would understand the confusion. I am a poet and a musician amongst many other talents. But this is quite literal. No, there are like fire creatures existent on that island that... I believe slither might be a little bit more accurate.
I would look to Amaryllis and say, shall we go purchase buckets?
Amaryllis just raises like a hand, and like a small like thundercloud appears and starts raining on her hand like a mini create water spell.
Right. I forget who I travel with sometimes.
She smiles like, but buckets would be useful for the three of you, perhaps.
Are they welcoming to visitors?
Well, he said they're fine.
No. I don't believe there's anything that you would call a person on that island. And I've met people every color, shape, size, and damn near everything you could possibly imagine.
Actually,
I don't think these people are friendly.
We heard tell that there's something on the island that, well, a person who's, he'd like glance towards Amaryllis and say, a woman who knows dragon lore.
The best description I heard was a dragon lady. I do not know precisely.
It makes sense, right? Dragons, fire, Isle of Cinders. It checks out. Checks out. I shouldn't care either way. Either way, you're taking my boat there. So, I hope you find what you find. I've heard that there's all sorts of interesting places on the island. I mean, it's like ruins and fire people and lava. You ever encountered lava before? It's horrifying. I love it.
I've heard stories.
Well, you're about to be in those stories.
Master Chandler, there is the matter of the fair.
Exactly, I was just about to get to it. Assuming no damage to my ship, which admittedly when you're going to an island that is on fire, is very likely. If there is no damage to the ship, all I ask is a 50 gold upfront payment, and I join you on this little journey.
I would look back to the boys.
We can't guarantee that the ship's not going to be damaged.
Of course, if the ship is damaged, then we discuss damages.
We have strong backs.
If the ship's damaged at the island, we'll discuss damages. If it's damaged on the way, we're not sailors. Nothing we could do about that.
Oh no, I can sail this bad bitch all by myself.
How
There
about
won't be any need for damages.
50 gold, and regardless of what happens, you don't leave until we're back on the ship?
Oh, of course. Of course, I wouldn't imagine taking the money of my new friends and abandoning you on an island that is set perpetually ablaze. I would never do such a thing. Not now that you've pointed it out. I am happy to agree to those terms, and there will be no issue with the harsh waters on the way there. I've sailed this ship here all the way from the absolute horrors of Goldport. I've seen dangerous waters of all shapes and sizes. It might be a little ship. She's got it where it counts.
That's good to know. Are we all okay?
First of all, this guy is Faye, which immediately puts major alarm bells going on.
I just want out of character for a moment. Is this me making links with that? Is this the guy who sold Indira her boat?
Indira's boat was given to her by someone named Chandler.
Yeah, I thought I remembered the name.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a way, like a minute ago, I was just like, he sounds like the noble pirate Captain Indira.
Yeah.
that Griff used to tell me stories about, and then I was like, that's too much. Don't do it.
Yeah, Is he trustworthy? No. Is this an easy way to get to that island? Yes. This guy... I mean, he seems to be in it for the story. This isn't a lot of money for what he's offering. Sailing you to a random island. If you make it interesting, he's probably going to be as honest as possible. But you cannot completely trust this guy. Straight up. You just can't.
Yeah, okay, so Bella is going to press 40 gold into his hands and say, this is for now. I'll double it when we're standing on this dock once more.
You can give me a persuasion for that.
Jesus, that's so much gold.
Yeah, but it's also...
it's less than...
not being abandoned on an island by a tricksy fae. Fuck sake! Ian, do you want to just hug and cry until we die?
Sure, yeah, why not?
He, you, in an unsettling way, he just sort of like licks his sharp teeth and clasps the hand shut with a squeak of leather. Like, of course. That's fine. I will need the next 10 for us to leave the dock. Are you offering to pay an extra 10 once we get back here? Beautiful. Lovely. I love that. Ship leaves with 50 gold aboard it. Right, that's the price. I set it for a reason.
I suppose it's a good thing we have more than 50 gold in our pockets then.
I'm subtracting 50 from my character sheet right now.
You just give him the extra 10.
Don't make me verbalize it.
Yeah, you just like silently do that, and he's like, "Welcome aboard the Whispering Wind." And
but I would like to go purchase buckets before we set
when we can set up, you can purchase whatever you want. I'll tell you, an island on fire, a little bucket of water. I don't know if that math checks out to me, but
it's not for the land; it's for the people.
A splash in the face cools down a lot of tempers. Why don't we get accustomed to the ship? And he all like just clasp Richter just lower back. You know, it's close to touch in cheek, but not all the way.
The little fingers.
The little finger is close. And just sort of kind of pushes him aboard, essentially. And
how do you feel about getting sexually harassed 2 times in a single session?
The Whispering Wind is essentially like that little sloop in Sea of Thieves that one person can sail. Yeah, it's a cool little ship that's seen a little bit of wear and tear. Colorful sails that are red and black in stripes. And yeah, buckets. Fuck, how much is a bucket? Sure, this is in the player's guide. Everyone's wanted to buy a bucket before.
Who doesn't need a bucket when you're
Who doesn't need a bucket?
I'm sorry, guys. I like creative solutions.
Buckets are 5 copper each. So you're good.
I was just going to spit at him.
2 for each of us.
Oh, no, I don't want no buckets. Thank you.
2 for each of us.
I'll take a bucket, fuck it.
Those 2 can make water out of thin air.
Wait, you can make water, can't you?
Some of us
with my pee-pee.
Okay, yeah. two each for me and Richter.
Yeah. Sure.
So how much?
2 silver.
I'm so sorry.
Literally
2 silver?
2 silver.
Okay.
You know, easy peasy to buy that.
Perfect.
Anything else you'd like to buy before you go to sea?
Do we need the rations for the journey?
Imagine we just fish on the boat.
No. I mean, you could try and do that. I don't know if any of you have. Oh, you have a fishing rod, Bell, but still, that's a.
Tell us how long it was going to be.
1 or 2 days.
How much
a week's worth of rations?
I don't know if this is a thing you could purchase. Yes, we probably should get rations, but like a long chain of chains.
Yeah, you can buy chains. No questions asked.
An extra long chain of chains.
As a slightly more fireproof rope.
Yeah. Chain is...
if necessary.
10 feet is 5 gold.
Blara, off you go. I'm kidding, I'll get it.
How much is a ration?
Rations are 5 silver each, I believe.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, I'm
gonna because it's got to be food that you could store in. I mean, first of all, it's 1 day, and then it's got to be food that you can store safely. So it's got like the wax paper and stuff.
Let's get 5 rations, shall we?
Was it 5 gold for 10 foot?
5 gold for 10 foot of rope of chain.
Okay, I'll spend 15 and get 30 then.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's 2.5.
Do you want it to be all 1 chain or 3 small chains, or 2 chains of 15 foot?
2 15-foot chains.
I like that length. I don't know why, but it appeals to me. Any smaller than 15 foot, you're out.
Get out of here, 12 feet.
Get out of here.
No one needs you.
14-foot person just like, all right. Because he's that tall, he can't. You don't have the...
That's what I was talking about. Height. Anything else?
That'll do it.
Great.
Put some buckets in your inventory, Richter.
Excellent. Why don't we take
Oh,
a
yeah.
real quick break before you go to CCC? Be back in a
God,
moment.
what is Ollie packing that his first like penis measurement is feet? Good God. He needs feet to figure out where he's at.
Everyone
Well,
needs
have you
feet.
ever seen a chameleon tongue? It's like that. Absolutely tiny, but shoots out a really long way. And then that's it, it's done back to
It's like a freaking like a freaking hole puncher.
I was just gonna say you blow a hole right through it.
Yeah. It's like a Dragon Ball Z punch.
It's getting super hot and heavy, and Ollie stands on the other side of the room, and the girl's like, "What are you doing?" It's like,
You'll see. All right. Well, now that everyone in the room is attracted to me, we can go be back in a few moments.
Oh shit, we were live still.
Oh, absolutely.